Welcome, sixth grade scholars, to Math with McKay. I am Miss McKay. Today we're going to continue on with the lesson. This is day 3. Day 1 and day 2, we focused on area of triangles and area of rectangles. Day 3, we're going to focus on perimeter. What I want you guys to do is make sure that you grab your pencil and your paper as well as your independent practice from yesterday so that we can go ahead and go over it and then get started with the lesson. So the independent practice questions from yesterday, you had to find the area of the rectangles. In order for you to find the area of the rectangles, you had to figure out what the lengths and the widths were. So for each of them, you had to count how many individual squares on the inside of the rectangles were going from left to right and how many individual squares on the inside were going from top to bottom in order to obtain your length and your width. And then once you figured that out, then you were to take the two numbers and multiply them together. Um, the first one was 30 units squared or square units. The second one was 39 square units. The third one was 16 square units. And the fourth one was 30 square units. For question number 2, you had to go ahead and draw out an image because they did not give you an image to view in order to obtain your area. And then once you drew out your image, then you labeled the length and the width with 7 and 3. And then you took those two numbers and you multiplied them together to have an outcome of 21 feet square. Here are the formulas that we're going to use. When it comes to a square, you'll use the formula 4S, or S plus S plus S plus S. When you see a number and a letter right next to each other, those vocabulary words, the number serves as a coefficient and the letter serves as a variable. Definition of a coefficient is the number being multiplied by the variable, and the variable is just the unknown. Whatever we don't know, the picture or the image or the question will give us what we don't know in regards to the square. When we're dealing with the rectangle, you'll use the formula 2L plus 2W, and 2L is just referring to 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. And then when it comes to a triangle has a total of 3 legs, so you'll take leg A plus leg B plus leg C and add them together in order to obtain your perimeter. So now I want you guys to go ahead and watch this quick video on perimeter. All right, so we'll continue on with some problems of our own. Now we are going to solve some of the questions that we saw in some previous units or lessons. We used this rectangle and this square in the questions from yesterday. So now we will go ahead and we will find the perimeter of the rectangle and the perimeter of the square. Again, what I like to do is I like to write out my key. So for the length, the unit with the dimensions were 3, and for the width, the dimensions was 7. So then we go ahead and we plug this into our equation or our formula. P is equal to 2L plus 2W. And then we go ahead and we substitute and we take 2 and multiply it by 3 plus 2 multiplied by 7. And then the P is equal to 6 plus 14 for a total of 20 units. Notice when it comes to area and when it comes to perimeter, when it came to area, your units were squared, but when it comes to perimeter, your units are not squared. It's just regular units, okay? So that's one way, or we could have just taken each one of these sides. I could have drew the rectangle again. And just like we saw in our video, if this side is 3, then this side is also 3. If this side is 7, then this side is also 7. We could have taken 3 plus 3 plus 7 plus 7. 3 and 3 gives us 6 plus 7 and 7, which gives us 14, for a total of 20. All right, so that's the same exact thing. We'll go ahead and do the same thing with the square. With the square, we use S is equal to 4 and 7/10. This time it gave us feet. And then the formula was P is equal to 4S or S plus S plus S plus S. It's the same thing, okay? So we'll do it both ways. So I'll take 4 and 7/10 and multiply it by 4. 4 and 7 gives me 8, 28. Carry the 2. 4 and 4 gives me 16 plus 2, which is 18. And we go back and we check our factors and we see how many digits follow a decimal point total. In 4 and 7/10, there's one digit that follows the decimal point. In 4, there is no digits that follow a decimal point. So for a total of 1, so when we come back to our product, then we have one number to follow the decimal point. So you start from the back and move your decimal one space over for a perimeter of 18 and 8/10 feet. All right. Now we will go on to the next one. Give you guys an opportunity to possibly try on your own. All right, here we have the rectangle, okay? This one is a word problem. So whenever we're dealing with a word problem and they don't give us the image, first thing you want to do is draw your image out. So it says, Andy has baked a rectangular cake and wants to place a ribbon around the perimeter of the cake. He uses a ruler to measure each side and he writes down the measurements of 24 centimeters, 14 centimeters, 24 centimeters, and 14 centimeters. How much ribbon does he need to go around the cake? When you're dealing with perimeter, they'll use words like around, to cover, or the outside. When we're talking about area, they'll use words such as inside, to fill, or things of that sort, okay? So when you're dealing with a question like this, again, you always want to draw out your image because you don't have anything, and you want to label that image and then go ahead and carry out the work behind it. So I'll give you guys an opportunity to attempt it on your own while I draw my image. Okay, the dimensions that they gave us were 24, 24, 14, and 14. Now we can just take these numbers and we can add them all together, or we can take these numbers and utilize the P is equal to 2L plus 2W. We can do that, or we can just add them all together, all right? So I think I'm going to do the multiplication method, okay? I'm going to take 2, multiply it by 24, plus 2. Actually, I'm going to put 14 here so we can stay true to the formula, times 24 there, okay? So 2 times 14 gives us 28 plus 2 times 24, which gives us 48. Then we add them together. 8 and 8 gives us 16. 2 and 4 gives us 6 plus 1, which was 7. So for a total of 76 centimeters. We do the same thing with the square. I want you guys to go ahead and draw your image first, and then take that, and then go ahead and find the perimeter of the said square. So it says Oliver wants to measure the perimeter of his bedroom. His bedroom floor is an exact square and one side measures 4 meters. What is the perimeter of Oliver's room? Remember, whenever you only see that one dimension, they're talking about a square because all of the sides of a square are equivalent to each other. All right, so I'm going to draw my square. They only gave me one, so I only need to put one. I can put all 4, but I don't have to because they're all the same. P is equal to 4s, 4s plus s plus s plus s. I'll do the s plus s plus s version of it. So I'll take 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 gives me 8 plus 4 gives me 12 plus 4 gives me 16. Notice we don't put that exponent on there because we're talking about perimeter, okay? Now here's the same triangle that we had in the first day's lesson, where it had so many different components and we had to take it and we had to break it up into 2 different sections, or we had to combine the bases in order to come out with the answer. So here's the same exact concept, whereas instead of us, breaking it down, we just take all of the numbers and we add them together, just like the formula says, P is equal to A plus B plus C. So this side is one side that could be A, this could be B, and the bottom half could be C. It really doesn't matter when it comes to the perimeter. You're just adding up all of the numbers on the outskirts, okay? So we are going to take the numbers using the formula A plus B plus C. With this one, you have multiple numbers. So we have 25 plus 17 plus 20 plus 8. So we are just taking all of the numbers that were given to us within the triangle itself and adding them together. So 25 and 17, 12, and then 42 plus 20, and then 62 plus 8. So the perimeter of our triangle is a total of 70 inches. It's just that simple. All right, remember when you don't have a image given to you, you draw out your image. I want you guys to try this one on your own. It says a farmer wants to fence around a piece of land to keep sheep away from his cows. One side of the fence is 12 meters, the second side is 11 meters, and the third side is 13 meters. What is the total perimeter of the fence? So again, using the same formula. Only difference is that we don't have an image. So I want you guys to try that one before I go ahead and work it out for you. All right, so all we're going to do is we're going to take these numbers and we're going to add them together. So I'm going to say 12 plus 11, which gives us 23, plus 13, which gives us 36. So the perimeter is equivalent to 36 meters. All right, guys, that wraps up the lesson for today. I hope you guys were able to really grasp an understanding of what it is that we're doing. Perimeter is much easier than area because all you have to do is just add the numbers up. When it comes to area, you have to make sure that you're multiplying, and then depending on if it's a fraction, you have to multiply and divide. All right. So when it comes to word problems, you want to make sure that you are paying attention to what the question is asking itself. Also, please don't forget to go on Dreambox for at least 10 to 15 minutes a day. Here are your independent practice questions that you guys will complete on your own. If you have any questions, if you get stuck anywhere while doing this, please go back and watch the video as you are working through these problems. Thank you guys, and you enjoy the rest of your day.